This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
The following program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, it doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you know it. Even on this Friday before Thanksgiving, it does not matter who the host is. Yes, that is so true that I can feel it. I can feel it in my bones. So there you go. Anyway, today's Friday, November the 17th of 2023. Day 321st of the year, and only 44 days left to go. Yep, we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
We are radio. We are sarcasm. We are both combined. Radio Big.
Oh, yes, Radio Big is where we hang and we get to do all the fun stuff that we get to do, no doubt about that. So, anyways, how has the last 24 hours been for you? So, hopefully they have been fantastic, because that's always important. And listen, we're about to get into some very strange time as we are hanging out here, no doubt about that. And what do I mean by that? Well, depending on how you have worked it out, you could potentially be off all of next week, not off next week, partially off next week. You know, I look at it as I'll probably come in. I keep on thinking about it. We'll probably be here 2 days next week, maybe 3. I don't know. 2 for sure. 3 on the maybe side, because I still don't have my plans ironed out in regards to what I'm doing. So there you go. That's a lot of stuff. So with that being said, let's talk about today, because it is Freeform Friday. So what does that mean for you and for me? Well, it means that we're going to be all over the place. It means we're going to go here and there and everywhere and pretty much do a giant swoop of all the things that we didn't get to catch up for last week. Excuse me, this week, earlier this week, some week, a week of something. So we'll be playing catch-up. Not with catch-up, but catch-up. So that will happen today, and we'll talk about that. So if you're not familiar with what we do around here, we are a show that talks about safety in the news and safety. That's kind of the way that it goes. You have the opportunity to come out and hang out with us if you're so inclined to do so by going to callinradio.com. That gives you the opportunity to interact right here. You come in, you click on the section that says, well, either the one that says the option for video, audio, or text messaging. Once you get there, it's a whole slew of things. You had to put in some minor information to get you moving and grooving inside of here. So there you go. As you know, I will look at the text messages. They're going out of style and probably reply back. And if you do the video and the audio, well, just kind of depending on what it is. If it's something that we should put through. So there you go. So with that being said, let's talk real quick about what the hell is going on with the stuff that was trending overnight.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so when I look at the trends of the ends of the end, Starship waits at least another day to launch and strikes slow down Starbucks Red Cup Day. So we'll talk about that. Snoop Dogg is, or maybe, giving up the ganja, and Martha Stewart is all turkeyed out. We'll talk about that as we get into showbiz. Ed Helms is actually toothless, and viewers point out a blunder in The Crown. A psychic predicted the Kardashians' fame. Good for them. And who leaked the details about the birthday of Prince Harry? Conflicting answers. We'll talk about that. Intel will do the giant swooper-ooper of picking everything up and getting it all lined out for you. So with that being said, I have some professional broadcasters that are waiting in the wings that want to tell you a little bit about life. No, they're just kidding about that part. They want to tell you a little bit about everything that's going on inside of the world. So are you ready? Because if you're ready, I'm ready, and we're ready, and we can get moving. But I have some Mark Mayfield waiting in the wings over there, wanting to tell you all about it, because that's what he does. He talking. Oh, that's something else. So there you go. So yeah, he'll tell you all about it if you're so interested in hearing. I think you should be interested because I'm interested. So here's some news coming your way right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Multiple reports are saying a hostage deal may be in the works between Israel and Hamas. The deal would free 50 women and children for the return of Palestinian prisoners. The exchange would coincide with a 3 to 5 day ceasefire. The reports have yet to be confirmed officially by either side. President Biden says California Governor Gavin Newsom could have the job that Biden is hoping to keep in 2024.
I want to talk about Governor Newsom. I want to thank him. He's been one hell of a governor, man.
While speaking at the APEC summit in San Francisco, Biden joked about Newsom's much-discussed White House ambitions. He said Newsom is one hell of a governor and could be anything he wants, including president. The California governor has been widely considered as a possible presidential contender. He's repeatedly dismissed speculation that he could challenge Biden for the Democratic nomination in 2024. The gag order against Donald Trump in his civil business fraud trial has been temporarily suspended. Brian Shook reports.
A New York appeals judge granted a request by Trump's legal team for an interim stay of the gag order, arguing it violates Trump's freedom of speech. The former president has been fined twice for apparent violations of the order, which the judge put in place following Trump's comments attacking the judge and his law clerk. I'm Brian Shook.
A jury has found the man who attacked the husband of former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi guilty. The jury began deliberating Wednesday afternoon, and they reached a verdict late Thursday morning. David DePape was convicted on attempting to kidnap a federal official and assaulting an immediate family member of a federal official. He faces up to 50 years in prison. And Michigan football head coach Jim Harbaugh is going to miss the final 2 regular season games after violating the Big Ten's sportsmanship policy. The school was accused of conducting impermissible in-person scouting over several years, which resulted in an unfair competitive advantage. The Wolverines coach accepted the suspension after the conference agreed to close its investigation. Harbaugh already missed last weekend's victory over Penn State as part of the discipline. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Constituents in Congressman George Santos' district on Long Island are reacting to the news that he's not going to run for re-election. Lisa G. reports.
The embattled congressman tweeted his decision following a scathing House ethics report, and some voters on Long Island didn't hold back their feelings.
Well, I wish he would run somewhere very far away.
It's about time, and he should be expelled because he's a disgrace.
He's so busy fighting off what he's accused of that he hasn't had time to do anything for us.
Some voters are hoping Santos gets expelled, as his legal troubles have made it difficult for him to do his job. Santos is also rejecting calls to resign immediately. Lisa G., New York.
House Democrats are saying some protesters who took part in the ceasefire protest outside DNC headquarters in Washington went beyond a peaceful demonstration. House Democratic leadership issued a statement saying they support the right to protest, but they encourage that they do so peacefully. They thanked Capitol Police for protecting members of Congress who were attending an event in the building at the time, including House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. Members of the Ceasefire Now coalition accused Capitol Police of using force against demonstrators without warning on Wednesday night. Hundreds of people gathered outside the DNC building in Washington to demand a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war, leading to clashes with police. And TikTok is being slammed from both sides of the aisle for allowing influencers to promote Osama bin Laden's anti-American letter released after the 9/11 attacks. GOP Representative Mike Gallagher of Wisconsin is outraged.
It's absolutely disgusting and further evidence that we need to ban TikTok.
It all began when 25-year-old influencer Lynette Adkins, who makes $200,000 a year for fashion and makeup tips, reposted bin Laden's letter on the China-owned app. She asked her hundreds of thousands of followers to go read it, adding she'll never look at this country the same. The White House weighed in too, saying that there's no justification in spreading bin Laden's lies. I'm Mark Mayfield.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Join us on all major social media platforms. And we are Radio Big.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
So do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com/one. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, yes, you have to believe in magic around here to know that you are listening to something magical, that is for sure. Anyways, let's talk about the shit list, because, we need to apply to some of those things. That is for sure. The Friday morning launch of SpaceX Starship has been postponed as early as Saturday, according to X post on Elon Musk. Musk wrote explaining the delay. We need to replace the grid fin actuator. This is via X. Space.com explains that the grid fin actuator is a waffle iron-like infrastructure of the Starship that is super heavy in the first stage, which helps the booster steer its way back to Earth. So there you go. Well, I didn't know if it had anything to do with rain. I mean, who knows? I mean, where are they shooting this thing from? Let's start off with that, because if they're doing the Florida one, it's been raining like a mofo around here, if you know what I'm saying. So there you go. Anyways, a new study reinforces the argument that hold on. The new study reinforces that the argument that not only did ancient Vikings beat Columbus to discover the New World, but they regularly visited from Greenland to harvest the natural resources. Analysts of Vikings artifacts showed that the extensive use of hemlock and jack pine, which are not native to Greenland. Instead, the lumber likely came from trees that were cut down in the modern day New England and Nova Scotia in Canada. The earliest finds of the date go back to 985 AD, more than 5 centuries before Columbus' voyage in 1492. This is according to Popular Mechanics. So hold on. I want to make sure that I understand. Are you saying we've been lied to? No, seriously.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so if your Starbucks order took particularly long yesterday, workers in stores might have been on strike. The workers' union coincided with the walkouts with the coffee chain's annual Red Cup Day, which typically marks a major sale day of the year. The union called the Red Cup Rebellion. Organizers expected 5,000 walkouts across the company in the United States, according to AP News. For what it's worth, baristas say that one of their biggest gripes is that the endless customization options that online ordering enables, drastically adding wait times, workloads, and downstream effects of the managing irritated customers. I mean, if you're not familiar with this guy, maybe you should look it up. He has a whole joke about how he can do a whole order at Starbucks and end up with just the little thing that's the cup holder. That's how detailed his coffee order is. His name is Tim Hawkins, probably one of the funniest guys that I've ever heard. Non-dirty, yeah. I guess I didn't know that was possible, but yeah, it is possible. Tim Hawkins, yeah, take a look at him if you get a chance. Anyways, a report by dating app Bumble shows that the Americans are looking for love are less and less worried about the age gap between partners. Hey now, nearly 2/3 say that age isn't a defining factor, and 59% of women say that they're more open to dating someone younger than they used to be. More than 1/3 of men say that less judgmental about age gaps in other relationships. This is via Mashable. Now, let me put it to you this way, because I don't think that guys have had issues with age gaps for some time. I'm making some assumptions here. So are they saying that women don't care about dating younger guys? Now, are we talking about dating up now in regards of age demographics? I want to have a better understanding of this. No, not that I'm looking for a date, because I'm sure my wife would beat me up. Not that I would have any need to go looking for dates, but I'm just saying. I'm just trying to figure it out. Like, what is, at one point, I always try to figure out is what is a sustainable age gap? What is something that is okay and it's not frowned upon? And then I was like, does it really matter at this particular point? I mean, of course, being of legal age plays the biggest factor into the whole damn thing. I mean, let's not get crazy here.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, a Nigerian woman has been crowned the Guinness World Records for creating the longest ever handmade wig, measuring 1,152 feet and 5 inches. 5 inches, I can't even speak. Professional wig maker Helen Williams spent 11 days and around $2,493 creating the lengthy hairpiece, which is made up of 1,000 bundles of hair, 12 cans of hairspray, 35 tubes of hair glue, and 6,250 hair clips. As for William took on the challenge, it appears as it was all fun. This is according to the Guinness Book of World Records. So there you go. There you go. There you go. Let's take a listen to this. What else? On, let's see. Let's see. I don't know. Let's talk about this. On Tuesday, we asked about the tipping habits, about, what is a generous bunch. No one said that they regularly tip less than 15%. About a third said that their tips range normally between 15 and 20%, while the rest say that they leave at least 20%. So cheers to that. So that's what came out about that question when we were asking earlier this week. So just so you knows-er about what the hell's going on there. So good. Apparently you're a big tipper. Sorry. What did I say there? So there you go. A lot of stuff to think about on this Freeform Friday as we are talking. So let's do this real quick. Let's bring some Erin Royale in and let her tell us about what the hell is going on with the money matters.
New York Congressman George Santos says he won't seek re-election after the House Ethics Committee released a damning report on Thursday. Natalie Migliori has more.
The committee agrees the embattled congressman committed substantial wrongdoing and will put forth an expulsion resolution Friday, alleging the Republican had $50,000 from campaign funds deposited into his bank account. He allegedly used that money to pay down personal debt, at one point taking a more than $4,200 shopping trip to Hermes. He's also accused of using the funds for the subscription site OnlyFans, Botox, and Sephora. Santos previously pleaded not guilty to nearly 24 federal charges, saying in a statement he's not running in 2024 because his family deserves better than to be under the gun from the press all the time.
The Golden State is playing a big role in the gathering of world leaders in San Francisco. California Governor Gavin Newsom delivered a talk warning of climate change while challenging the world to be like California and turn climate concerns into business opportunities.
What we've been able to achieve in California is not only nation-leading environmental policy, but the application of that policy has allowed us to dominate as one of the most robust economies in the United States of America.
Newsom sat down with Canada's Prime Minister at the APEC summit. They spoke about an agreement they signed last year for both countries to cut pollution, plastic waste, and carbon emissions. Newsom says they're working on an electric vehicle corridor from California, Oregon, Washington, and into Quebec. U.S. candy giant Mars is buying British luxury chocolate maker Hotel Chocolate. The deal is worth $662 million and sent stocks in Hotel Chocolate soaring after it was announced on Thursday. Hotel Chocolate was founded about 30 years ago and opened its first store almost 20 years ago. The brand has grown to have over 100 stores in the UK, along with cafes, restaurants, and a luxury hotel with a working cocoa farm in the Caribbean. The company said the deal with Mars will allow it to grow its international market much more quickly. Consumer and business news, Erin Royale, NBC News Radio.
Okay, thank you, Erin, for that information right there. No doubt about that, letting us know exactly what is going on because, hey, listen, That's important to know. It really is. Anyways, the Dow lost about 45 points to close at 34,945 on Thursday. The S&P ticked up about 5 points to close at 4,508, and the Nasdaq added about 9 points to close at 14,113. West Texas Intermediate closed at $72 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $77 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.34, and Bitcoin dropped about 5% on Thursday, trading right back under $36,000. There was more than, 2,335 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Thursday, and more than about 60 such cancellations. Tonight's Mega Million drawing will be for $267 million jackpot or $122 million cash payout. So, there you go. Saturday night's Powerball drawing will be for $280 million jackpot or $128.6 million cash payout. So, if you want to play the game, well, you still have the time to do so. So there you go. Take a listen to this real quick. Sean Diddy Combs is being sued by ex-girlfriend Cassie, who has made some shocking allegations against the musician. In the suit, she claims that that towards the end of the relationship in 2018, when she was looking to make it a clean split, Diddy forced himself on her at her apartment. Cassie also says that the lengthy off and on again relationship was filled with physical and emotional abuse at the hands of Diddy, and would have often forced her to have sex with several different male prostitutes while he filmed it. Lastly, Cassie says that Diddy once threatened to blow up Kid Cudi's car after he found out during one of their breakups that she had a brief relationship with him in 2011. Get this, in 2012, Cudi's car did in fact blow up in his driveway. In response to the accusation, Diddy's attorney says that he denies these offensive and outrageous allegations while detailing how Cassie has allegedly been blackmailing him for $30 million under the threat of writing a damaging book about their relationship. So there you go. There you go. Anyway, we'll talk about more of this stuff when we get to the other side of the equation, so don't worry about that. But that one stuck out like a sore thumb, and I said, hey, let's talk about it. Take a listen to this real quick. The closed section of 10 freeway in downtown LA is now expected to fully reopen next week. Mayor Karen Bass was relieved at the news conference. Here you go, what she had to say on Thursday night.
All of the stars have been aligned. So what a gift for Los Angeles to have right before a holiday to know that your commute will be better.
Governor Gavin Newsom says the freeway will reopen on Tuesday at the latest. The freeway damaged by the fire last Saturday was initially supposed to remain closed for 3 to 5 weeks, as many of 100 pillars were seriously damaged in the fire, which started the pallet yard underneath the freeway. Newsom says the repair crews have been working and will continue to work around the clock. Mayor Bass credits federal funding for the speed and the repair work.
I spoke to Vice President Harris last night. They made sure that we had the resources, delivering several $1 million just yesterday to Caltrans, and saying that everybody understands the significance of these highways in this city.
I know, and now if we could just do more things to get things to be worked on quicker, that would be fantastic. Anyways, a Baltimore City Council member is throwing his support behind a former mayor for the 2024 Democratic mayoral nomination. 11th District Councilman Eric Castillo has endorsed Sheila Nixon.
City Hall has reached a level of dysfunction that I never thought was possible, and our residents and our small businesses deserve better.
Castillo endorsed Mayor Brandon Scott in the last election, but says that his lack of leadership is failing all of us, and continuing this trajectory is not an option. Last month, Baltimore City delegate Sandy Rosenberg endorsed Dixon after backing Mayor Scott in 2020. The mayor is scheduled to officially launch his re-election bid Saturday during the event in Cahill Recreation Center. City Councilman Eric Castillo says that his decision to endorse Dixon is not personal.
Make no mistake about it. I love Brandon Scott as a person. I do. And it pains me to say that his lack of leadership is failing all of us. We are at an inflection point, and continuing on this trajectory is simply not an option.
Yes, trajectories normally cannot be an option when you start thinking about some stuff.
Duh.
That is just kind of the case in point. No, duh. So there you go. Anyways, let's continue talking. The trial will resume on Monday in Baltimore County Circuit Court for the main man accused of the 2021 91-year-old man in the Perry Hall. Gary Parrish is charged with the first-degree murder of the death of Norman Albert Sr., whose body was found while police were conducting a welfare check at his home in Hines Road. Norman Albert Jr. says that it has been difficult to attend the trial.
Every minute I'm up here, it's pretty heartbreaking just thinking about all I can do is keep thinking about my dad and what happened to him.
In court Thursday, the prosecution presented evidence that included Parrish's shoes, which matched footprints found at the home with the victim's blood on them. On a cross-examination, the defense questioned the findings, saying that the shoes were only highly probable match. The prosecution is expected to call one more witness before presenting their closing arguments. Norman Albert Jr. wants the suspect held responsible.
I can only pray to God that justice prevails on this case.
Yes, that's the only thing you could probably do at this particular point. I mean, can you fathom? Yes, I said fathom actually having to sit through a court case hearing something about something happening to one of your parents. It's probably not an easy scenario in regards to doing it. There is no doubt about that as we are talking. So give that some consideration as we are moving and grooving here. So members of Colorado Watchdog Group are asking the state attorney general to intervene after the lack of action on their recent re-election concerns. Catherine Cat Gale with the Integrity Matters says that she doesn't believe that the city of Colorado Springs is taking them seriously about the ballot security.
For a democracy to function, voters have to have confidence in the system, that their vote will count, and that the voice of the people is heard.
The group first altered the Colorado Springs City Clerk's office about potential election fraud after the ballot was returned from a voter who died months before the April municipal election. City Attorney Wynette Macy opened the investigation, even though the city received a formal complaint. Macy concluded that the remaining claims submitted by the Integrity Matters did not constitute a violation of the city code or state law. The group also paid thousands of dollars to open records requests to review security camera footage from the ballot drop boxes. Integrity Matters wants the county clerk to and re-record the run of the city future elections and move them to November, but the April election date is part of the city's charter and would require an amendment change. Dr. John Pritchard with Integrity Matters says the video was missing from multiple ballot drop boxes after investigating it in the last Colorado Springs municipal election. Take a listen.
We discovered that 42% of the cameras were not working, and this is affecting the security of somewhere between 25 and 50,000 ballots. We're not sure.
42%? I mean, what the freak? Anyways, take a listen to this. Public electric vehicle chargers are now curbside in Ann Arbor. Mayor Christopher Taylor says that he helps remove barriers for people who rent their homes and cannot add the chargers to them. Take a listen.
Ann Arbor has over 50% of folks live in rental situations, multifamily units, who don't have control. They can't put a charger on their single-family home.
The city used a grant from the State Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy to pay for the chargers that are being added to the utility poles. More will be added in the future. Ann Arbor Mayor also says that the electric vehicle chargers will be added to the utility poles. Take a listen.
It's going to need to be, of course, a location-specific decision based upon about the life history of the pole, the availability of electricity on the wire. But where we can, as we can, this is something we're excited to do.
Yep. So the availability of electricity on the pole. Take a listen to that. I mean, think about what I just said there. Yeah. 33 minutes past. You know what it is? It is Freeform Friday. You know what this means too? This means that we are going to get you the news cycles.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Simon Gaitan. Israeli President Benjamin Netanyahu has admitted that Israel has not been successful in minimizing civilian casualties in Gaza. This comes as the Israeli Defense Minister Gallant says the next stage has begun of Israeli ground operations in Gaza, with reports of leaflets calling for civilians to flee being dropped in southern Gaza. Gallant says the operation will eventually include both the north and the south of the enclave. The Hamas-led Health Authority in Gaza claims more than 11,100 Palestinians have been killed since October the 7th's attack on Israel, which killed at least 1,200 Israelis. Beijing's agreed to rethink controls on ingredients to make the addictive drug fentanyl after Washington lifted sanctions on a Chinese government institute of forensic science. The announcement came after the first meeting in a year between President Xi Jinping and President Joe Biden this week in San Francisco. Here's Andrew Wood in Hong Kong.
Overdoses of fentanyl and similar opioid drugs have killed hundreds of thousands of Americans in recent years. Beijing's previous stance was that Chinese ingredients or precursors were relatively ordinary chemicals with many legitimate uses. Their export to places like Mexico, where drug gangs made fentanyl, was difficult to restrict. China and America will set up a working group, although few details are available so far. In return, President Biden's lifted sanctions on a Chinese government institute of forensic science that were imposed for its role in allegedly repressing Uyghurs in the west of China. Human rights groups aren't happy. Andrew Wood, Hong Kong.
Rescuers in the North Indian state of Uttarakhand are still battling to save 40 workers trapped in a tunnel that collapsed. There are fears the men could be suffering from trauma and hypothermia. Priyata Brajabasi reports.
Rescuers struggle to drill through the debris and free the trapped men in Uttarakhand. That even after a heavy-duty machine was flown in from Delhi to help clear the way. They're planning to insert metal pipes into the clearing one after the other to create an escape passage for the workers to crawl out of. Officials say they're safe and are being supplied with oxygen, food, water and medicines. But doctors warn those trapped need immediate medical attention once they're rescued. Meanwhile, the tunnel workers and locals are protesting at the site of the disaster against the state administration and construction company over the delayed rescue operation. The workers have been trapped since Sunday when the tunnel under construction collapsed because of a nearby landslide. Priyata Brajwasi in New Delhi.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, wrapping up our coverage of the APEC summit from San Francisco, where there are some mixed results emerging from a week of diplomacy. It's seen President Biden and President Xi Jinping declaring that a new era of at least slightly warmer relations between the United States and China is at hand. And while APEC leaders made progress on issues including improved supply chains, the transition to clean energy and anti-corruption efforts, they failed to agree language on trade that will lie at the heart of the proposed Indo-Pacific Economic Framework. Also, the conflicts in the Middle East and Ukraine saw disagreements around the conference table. Vedant Patel is deputy spokesperson at the US State Department.
We have the ability to deal with multiple challenges and crises at the same time. We can ensure that we're helping flow humanitarian aid into Gaza. We're doing what we can to support our Israeli partners as they hold these terrorist groups accountable. We're also continuing to do everything we can to support our Ukrainian partners as they defend their territorial integrity and sovereignty. For a lack of a better word, we feel confident in our ability to walk and chew gum at the same time, and multilateral settings like this are a really unique opportunity to talk about these varying different issues with the respective member economies.
It is perhaps inevitable that a forum that includes the US, Russia and China was always going to be somewhat constrained in terms of outcomes. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories. Israeli President Benjamin Netanyahu has admitted that Israel has not been successful in minimizing civilian casualties in Gaza. This comes as the Israeli Defense Minister Gallant says the next stage has begun of Israeli ground operations in Gaza. Rescuers in northern India are battling to save 40 workers trapped in a tunnel that collapsed. And Beijing has agreed to increase controls on the ingredients used to make the addictive drug fentanyl. That's the latest feature story news. Simon Gaitan reporting.
If you think local radio sucks, wait till you hear our free-form station, Radio Big.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobile.io. That's mobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello. Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Well, you know that here at Safety FM and Radio Big, we're always trying to look for life hacks, though. With the busy season just around the corner, you might be looking for wholesome, convenient meals for your jam-packed days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kits, can help you fuel up with fast chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, and ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle. Refresh your healthy habits without missing a beat. Choose from 34 weekly flavored packs. Dietitian-approved meals ready to eat in 2 minutes. All you need to do is head over to factorsmeals.com/safetyfm50 and use code safetyfm50 to get 50% off. That's code safetyfm50 at factormeals.com/safetyfm50 to get 50% off. Go there. Do it now.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
The following is made possible by Dad.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling all over it.
The dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
Why do you have to be careful when it's raining cats and dogs? Because you might step in a poodle.
And kids that spend more time with their dads grow up to be smarter, more successful.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
And, with any luck, funnier adults.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he didn't have any body to go with.
Dad jokes rule. So take a moment to make a moment and give your kid a laugh. It's as easy as going to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
That's really funny.
What do guys like besides pizza and morning sex?
Jay Allen in the morning.
It's so bizarre and unnatural.
It's all good. On Radio Big. Here on the Rated R Safety Show, we're going to talk about the way we left it. Yeah, how did we leave it?
Well, I don't know. That's what the Interstate's telling you about it. This song's readily available. Yeah, readily available on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music. I almost said iTunes Music. That would have been a cluster. Anyways, yes, Freeform Friday, where we form it in the free. Bring in the form. Yeah, we talk about the way we left it. Yeah, let some freedom reign, that's for sure. Anyways, let's get into it. Thanks to the Interstate for allowing us to play the way we left it. So let's get into the move and the groove of the things that we have going on. And let me tell you about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime. And that's about my friends at To Right Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. To Right Love on Her Arms wants you to know that people have been where you are now and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's To Right Love on Her Arms. That's TWLOHA.com. And that will get everything moving and grooving for you. Listen, this information's important. It's something that we need to talk about, not sometimes, but all of the time. Seriously. To Right Love on Her Arms. There's all kinds of information dealing with addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support resources, just to name a few. If you want to find out more, if you want to get involved, To Right Love on Her Arms, TWLOHA.com. That's all you have to do is just go to that website, click on the section that says Find Help, or there's all other kinds of resources there. I mean, self-care, events, stories, how to get involved, and all that kind of fun stuff. Like, I'll tell you, I was at an event that they had what was it? 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. Pretty good times. Pretty good times right there. The next event they have coming up is on December the 10th. It's the Honolulu Marathon. Yes, in Honolulu, Hawaii. And then followed by, right now after that, they have one posted. And things, of course, are always subject to change where more things can come in. For a run in Los Angeles. It will be on March the 17th. So there you go. There's some dates for you. To be able to take a look at. TWLOHA.com will give you all the information that you are looking for. Anyways, let's get into some other info real quick and some things that are going on inside of the world, though, because that's important to do. Let's talk about some new movies coming out today. The Hunger Games, The Ballad of the Songbirds and Snake, PG-13, 64 years before Katniss Everdeen volunteered. Let's see. Mr. Snow mentors and develops the feelings for a female in District 12 tribute during the 10th Hunger Games. So that's available today, as I said. Trolls Band Together comes out today, rated PG. The branch once part of the boy band Brozone and his brothers Floyd, John Dory, Spruce, and Clay when Floyd is kidnapped. Branch and Poppy embark on a journey to reunite his two other brothers and rescue Floyd. That's available today. Anna Kendrick, Justin Timberlake, and Amy Schumer are all on there. Also today, Thanksgiving, rated R. After a Black Friday riot ends in tragedy, a mysterious Thanksgiving-inspired killer terrorizes Plymouth, Massachusetts, the birthplace of the infamous holiday. That's available today. And then last but not least, Next Goal Wins, PG-13, the story of the infamously terrible American Samoa soccer team known as the brutal 2001 FIFA match. They lost 31-0. So that's available as well today if you're looking into doing some movie theater thing before you get into next week. So let's talk about this real quick. A smartphone app may soon be able to tell you if you're too drunk to drive by listening to you read tongue twisters. Scientists at Stanford Medicine and University of Toronto work together with the premise that built sensors in smartphones that could gauge a person's level of intoxication through local changes or vocal changes. Study and participants read tongue twisters aloud while the smartphone positioned on a table recorded their speech. Using digital software, the research team examined things such as frequency and pitch, and those who attribute a change with alcoholism consumption. Comparison between the voice and patterns of change. The breathalyzer reading demonstrates a 98% accuracy rate, predicting intoxication. The researchers say that the future sobriety apps may incorporate multiple types of sensors, including for detecting changes in the way that of texting patterns. And how many times have you called your ex? So there you go. Maybe she knew, or he knew, or whoever the hell knew. And that's a great idea because I don't usually have to prove I'm sober until I get home. So there you go. I don't know. Listen, I have someone that I know that was working on this whole thing about these apps. And they had this great idea for this app for people, blah, blah. But then they didn't come to the realization that the majority of the people that they were actually developing the app for, well, those people didn't read.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show. Self-implode on our airwaves. Only on Safety FM.
Okay, so there you go. There you go. Let's talk about some news of the weird. A woman was arrested after walking onto a tarmac to catch a plane taking off from, Canberra Airport in Australia. Eyewitness Simon Hales said to the local reporter that she was trying to yell at the pilot. She's trying to get his attention and jump up. It was bizarre. On Facebook, he wrote that the woman had missed her flight clearly and thought that she could still catch it, pushed past the staff at the door and ran onto the tarmac and ran up to the plane. Luckily, the pilot was warned or spotted her and killed the engine. The woman was arrested by the Australian Federal Police. I don't know who she is, but I hope she's around next time I'm trying to hail a cab. That's for sure. Take a listen to this. A business in China has been getting the attention lately of a new service that it is offering, the opportunity for divorcing couples to destroy their wedding pictures, tearing them up photos after a failed marriage. Artifacts, canvases, and other things that can happen in the flame resistance. This leaves divorcing couples the new option, like simply throwing their wedding pictures in the trash, which many are reluctant to do in case they are found and recognized by someone. That's why a young man named Lou comes in. The client ships the wedding pics to the company where the staff first covered the photos in spray paint, then puts them in a powerful shredding machine, and then the entire process is filmed and the footage is sent to the client as proof, kind of like having a professional shot of an anti-wedding video. So there you go. I don't know, kind of a weird one if you think about it, but hey, I tell people all the time, if we talk about business situations, I tell people all the time that there is a market for everything. So this person is getting paid to spray paint your wedding pictures and then to shred them and send you video evidence of this. I mean, think about that. Think about, number one, the simplicity of what it is. And number two, that people will possibly pay for this service. Because if you take a look at it and give it some thought process, normally before you go to market, you have to actually verify that you do have some market value out there. And apparently, someone has done that already. Anyways, let's do something a little bit happier. Let's bring some John Smalls into our life and let him tell us about what the hell is going on with the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's story was submitted by Chris. My third grade teacher took a fish out of its bowl and left a classroom of children as it flopped around, telling us if anyone left their seat, they would be expelled. All of us sat and watched as the fish flopped around, not wanting to get up in order to avoid getting in trouble. Finally, a girl sprang up from her seat and ran to the fish, placing it back in its bowl. She was the only one who refused to watch this fish die. Our teacher then returned to the room and told the class this was a lesson, that the fear of getting in trouble should never stop you from doing what's right. That sometimes you may have to oppose authority and groupthink simply because it's the right thing to do. I think of it often. Thanks, Chris. I'll think of that now as well. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
A growing number of Texas women are signing on to a lawsuit challenging the state's abortion ban. Their attorney is Nick Cabot with the Center for Reproductive Rights.
We are asking a judge to clarify that giving money to these organizations is part of what is prohibited in Texas law.
This past week, 7 more women joined the court challenge, boosting the total to 20 women. They all claim they were denied an abortion despite their medically complex pregnancies. Reports of domestic violence on Maui have more than doubled following the August wildfires. That's according to Women Helping Women Maui, the island's only 24-hour domestic violence emergency hotline. It was averaging 250 calls a month, but since the wildfires, it's had more than 550 calls per month. FEMA response teams report more than 12,000 behavioral health encounters on Maui since August 8th. Health Updates, Sarah Lee Kessler, NBC News Radio.
Hello, I'm Richard Exley with your 1-minute devotion. We know that Jesus was a student of the Scriptures, not by direct reference, but by inference. While the Gospels give a detailed overview of his prayer life, they are silent regarding his study habits. That he was a student of the Word, however, is evident throughout the Gospels. For instance, by the age of 12, he was so versed in the Scriptures that he was able to astound the teachers in the temple for 3 days. Luke says, all who heard him were astonished at his understanding and his answers. Jesus might have said, I meditate on your precepts and consider your ways. I will not neglect your word. That's Psalm 119. If these devotions are a blessing and an encouragement to you, you can subscribe at oneminutedevotion.com.
We're rocking all day at work because we don't give a duck. Autocorrect probably just saved my ass there. Like I give a flying, you know.
Okay, there you go. 55 minutes past the top of the hour. But let's take a look at some things that happened back on this date. Back in 1973, yes, 1973, President Nixon utters his famous words that he is not a crook. The phrase came to talking to AP editors in live TV question and answers. He did take the blame for not adequately supervising some elements of his campaign, and he would resign the presidency in August of the following year. That happened back on this date, back in 1973. So there you go. Some things to think about as we are talking. As we take a look real quick, let's take a look at some birthdays that are going on today. As I take a look around, let's start off with this. Devin Haney turns 25, Eric Nam 35, Tom Ellis 45, Rachel McAdam also turns 45, RuPaul 63, and Jonathan Ross also turns 63. Ramona Singer 67, Danny DeVito 79, and Martin Scorsese. He turns 81 today, so there you go. There's some birthdays for you. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, well, I have some of those for you. It's National Take a Hike Day, International Students Day, National Unfriend Day, World Prematurity Day, International Happy Goose Day, National Homemade Bread Day. So there you go, some things to take a look at if you're so inclined to do so. If you need a random joke for today, well, I can definitely give you one of those. That's normally not a problem. It goes something along these lines. Justice is a dish best served cold. If it were warmed, it would be just water. Get it? Get it? Get it? Get it? Okay. What celebrities do you feel like you know, even though you've never met them? That's the phone starter for today. If you need something for the water cooler, try this. 7% of us have stolen this from a workplace. What is it? Toilet paper. Now, I have a question when you say that. Does that mean it's stolen because you used it, or is it stolen like you took it and went with you, or you wanted to blow your nose until you took some extra with you, and that's considered a theft? I mean, I don't know. I want to have a better understanding of this stolen toilet paper thing, because we need to know what exactly is going on. Anyways, with that being said, at the top of the hour, I am going over to radiobig.fm. No doubt about that. If you want to come and hang out with me, if you stay on Safety FM, you will hang out with the likes of Sheldon Primus, where he will talk about the business of safety consulting, if you're so inclined to hang out with him and do all that kind of fun stuff on that side of the equation. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of there. if you so care to do that. So there you go. Anyways, if I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you in this one. When you focus on the good gets better. Think about that. Yeah, that's something to think about. Anyways, thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener, because without you, it does not make a lot of sense to do what we do around here. That is for sure. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
Feeling tired, my head is spinning like a top. In this wasteland, I wonder if it ever stops. Something hit me like a freight train from